Dear friends, Namaskar. I am Dr. Shankar Singh. Today we will discuss about a metabolic or you can say endocrine disease that is called as Cushing's disease, Cushing's syndrome, or it's also called as hyperadrenocorticism or hypercortisolism. As the name indicates that the disease is mainly associated with high level of cortisol inside the body. You go for the clinical practice and you will see that the glucocorticoids are probably most commonly used therapeutic agent in the veterinary medicine. And these glucocorticoids are produced by zona fasciculata of adrenal cortex, and these hormones are essential for maintenance of life. So, these hormones are very essential when the life is maintained or physiology of the animal is maintained. These glucocorticoids are responsible for or associated with several physiological functions inside the body. So, these are normally produced inside the body. As you know that the ultimate product of this physiology, or you can say this stress induced or normal physiology of the cortisol production, if we will discuss in detail, the production of cortisol is controlled by hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. There is regulatory feedback mechanism. Whenever it is required, its production is elevated. When sufficient amount of this cortisol is available inside the body, it gives negative feedback and its production is ultimately reduced. As you know that hypothalamus is responsible for production of corticotropic or corticotropin releasing hormone. Once this hypothalamus is stimulated, or if there is no negative feedback over the hypothalamus when cortisol level is low, at that time this hypothalamus secrete this CRH, or the secretion of CRH can also be stimulated by the external or internal stress. Whenever there is more stress, at that time some biochemical substance like serotonins and epinephrines are produced, and these biochemical substances leads to elevated or stimulates hypothalamus for secretion of CRH, and this CRH ultimately stimulate the secretion and production of corticotropin, that is called as adrenocorticotropic hormone by the adenohypophysis of pituitary gland. When this corticotropin or ACTH is produced and secreted into the circulation, it goes and acts on, or you can say stimulates adrenal cortex, and ultimately this adrenal cortex is responsible for synthesis and secretion of the glucocorticoids, which are further going to associate with various functions of the body. This is the normal physiology, but anyhow, if the production of cortisol is elevated, as we have seen, there are targets which can enhance the production of this cortisol, and that will leads to hypercortisolism. What will be the first target? First is the hypersecretion of ACTH. It means if there is functional pituitary neoplasm, if there is adenoma or carcinoma of pituitary gland, at that time there will be overproduction of adrenocorticotropic hormone, and this overproduced adrenocorticotropic hormone will lead to stimulation of adrenal gland and further synthesis of this cortisol, and ultimately the hypercortisolism will be there in that animal. Or this adrenocorticotropic hormone can also be elevated or increased, or its production can be increased by corticotropic like substances which are of ectopic origin or idiopathic origin. Second side for overproduction or possible reason for this overproduction of cortisol can be the adrenal cortex. It can be overproduce or oversynthesize if there is functional adenoma of adrenal gland or adrenal cortex. At that condition, you will find elevated production of this cortisol without any stimulation. So, this will lead to the condition of hypercortisolism. Another way by which this cortisol level or glucocorticoid level will be elevated inside the body is by exogenous glucocorticoid administration, that is called a iatrogenic cause of this disease. It means that if you are administering this glucocorticoid to the animal for a prolonged period, or you are giving this drug for long period, at that time also you will find the clinical manifestation or clinical disease of hypercortisolism. So, these are the possible reasons from where the cortisol level can be elevated inside the body of animals, and this hypercortisolism, or you can say Cushing syndrome, is characterized by polyphagia, polyuria, polydipsia, bilateral symmetric alopecia, thin hypotonic skin, and skeletal muscle weakness. These are the main characteristic of this Cushing syndrome or Cushing disease in animal. As we have discussed the physiology, this disease can be classified into two main categories. One is the pituitary dependent hyperadrenocorticism, that is called as PDH, pituitary dependent hyperadrenocorticism, in which the production of adrenocorticotropic hormone is elevated, and ultimately due to elevation of ACTH hormone, the adrenal cortex produce or secretes large amount of this cortisol, and ultimately because of this high cortisol level inside the body, physiological alterations are observed. But at the same time, another type of hyperadrenocorticism can be there when adrenal gland is involved, or it is called as adrenal dependent hyperadrenocorticism. It means if there is adenoma or adenocarcinoma of adrenal gland, at that time also there will be high production of or synthesis of cortisol, and similar clinical presentation will be observed. So, there are basically two types of hyperadrenocorticism. अगर डॉग में हम लोग बात करें तो पिट्यूटरी डिपेंडेंट हाइपरकॉर्टिसिज्म जो होता है वो 80 to 85% केसेस में होता है, बट रिमेनिंग 15% केसेस एड्रिनल डिपेंडेंट होते हैं. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस आर ऑफ पिट्यूटरी डिपेंडेंट इन dogs. Other some possible regions or you can say classifications can be there, like ectopic ACTH secretion, यानी एडिनोकॉर्टिकोट्रोपिक हार्मोन का दूसरे जगह से प्रोडक्शन बढ़ जाए, लाइक एडिनोमास ऑफ लंग ट्यूमर्स और यू कैन से some ectopic tumors in the lung can also produce ACTH. और जो हमारा कॉमनली ऑब्जर्व जो एट्रोजेनिक होता है दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी ए पॉसिबल रीजन, लाइक एट्रोजेनिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ chronic excessive glucocorticoids administration can lead to the symptoms of hypercortisolism. So these are the possible cause in which most of the time PDH is the main culprit. Now what are the age group of dogs who are at more risk? It commonly occurs in dogs who are older than 6 years of age, or on an average 10 years of age is commonly susceptible for this disease, but it is also reported in younger animals or younger dogs. Some breeds which are frequently affected with this disease or they are at the highest risk are Dachshund and Boston Terriers. These two breeds are at the highest risk for occurrence of this Cushing syndrome. Some other breeds are also susceptible, but they are less commonly affected with this disease. They are all poodle breeds, German shepherds, beagles, Labrador retrievers. These are the breeds which are also susceptible for the Cushing syndrome. Now coming to pathogenesis, that is the very important part. As you know that this adrenocorticotropic hormone is produced or regulated by this cortisol, and the secretion of this adrenocorticotropic hormone from pituitary is regulated by tonic inhibition of dopamine. Once the level of dopamine inside the body is low, at that time the ACTH will be released much higher and higher. So the production of cortisol will be high at that condition. Similarly, if CRH is commonly feedbackly, you can say there is feedback inhibition of corticotropin releasing hormone by this cortisol. If there is any disparity or if there is more stimulation of this CRH or you can say ACTH, at that time also you will find high level of production of ACTH. Such situation, when as we have already discussed, stress which can leads to elevated level of serotonin or epinephrine can induce or can increase or stimulate the production or secretion of this CRH. But once there is elevated level of this adrenocorticotropic hormone, you will find a very interesting thing, that will be bilateral adrenocortical hyperplasia. It means once the ACTH will be elevated, it will affect both the adrenal glands equally. So the bilateral adrenocortical hyperplasia will be observed if animal is suffering from pituitary dependent hypercorticism. if there is functional adrenocortico, or you can say adrenocortical neoplasm, at that time there will be different things, because it is very rare chance that both the glands are affected with this tumor. कॉमनली ऐसा होता है कि एक ही ग्लैंड जो है एड्रिनल ग्लैंड है वो अफेक्ट होता है और उससे कॉर्टिसोल का प्रोडक्शन एलिवेटेड होता है. वंस जब कॉर्टिसोल लेवल एक से ज़्यादा बनेगा, दैट विल इनहिबिट द CRH and hence ultimately ACTH production will be reduced. Ultimately क्या होगा? At that time contralateral जो adrenal gland है उस पे ACTH नहीं आएगा, so that will be shrunken. एक enlarge होगा, दूसरा shrunken होगा. अगर दूसरा shrunken है और एक enlarge है, अगर आप अल्ट्रासोनोग्राफी में इस तरह से पाते हैं तो यू शुड ऑलवेज सस्पेक्ट अबाउट द फंक्शनल डिसफंक्शन और यू कैन से एड्रेनोकॉर्टिकल नियोप्लाज्म. लेकिन अगर एक ही साथ में दोनों एड्रेनल ग्लैंड इनलार्ज हैं, ये इंडिकेट करता है कि उसको पिट्यूटरी डिपेंडेंट हाइपरकॉर्टिसोलिज्म हो सकता है. सो दीज आर द वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग विच शुड बी कंसिडर at the time of examination, or when you want to differentiate between the this pituitary dependent and adrenal dependent hypercortisolism. Now coming to the clinical features, what are different clinical features which are associated with this hypercortisolism or Cushing's syndrome. पहला जो इनिशियल साइन है, क्लिनिकल मैनिफेस्टेशन है, दैट इज द पॉलीयूरिया पॉलीडिप्सिया. व्हेन यू विल सी इट इज पॉलीयूरिया एंड पॉलीडिप्सिया, इफ योर डॉग इज टेकिंग greater than or more than 100 ml of water per kg per day, water intake is if more than 100 ml per kg per day, you can say it is a case of polydipsia. And it is the common initial sign of this hyperadrenocorticism. इसके बाद से आपको स्किन लीजन्स मिलेंगे, दैट इज़ द टिपिकल. बट ये जो साइन है स्किन लीजन के अपीयर होने से लगभग 6 से 12 महीने पहले ही आ जाते हैं. सो दीज आर द इनिशियल साइंस विच शुड बी नोटेड if you are suspecting for the hypercortisolism. In most of the cases, if you will find, or you can say up to 50% of the affected dogs are having polyphagia also, यानी कि polydipsia, polyuria and polyphagia all can be found in a dog who is suffering from this hyperadrenocorticism. Polyphagia जो है that is mainly associated with the dogs who are affected with this catabolic status, or you can say because of this high level of cortisol you will find insulin resistance. You will see it later on. Because of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes will be there, and this may be associated with the polyphagia condition. But in severe polyuria you will find even dribbling of urine. आपको ऑनर बताएगा कि हमेशा ही यूरिन ड्रिबल करते रहता है, खास करके तब जब वो डॉग उसका सो रहा होता है. एट द टाइम ऑफ स्लीपिंग dribbling of urine is observed by the owner. Urinary incontinence भी एक ऑनर का कंप्लेंट रहता है कि nowadays he is having urinary incontinence, and बाहर जाने से पहले ही घर में ही वो यूरिनेट कर देता है। तो दीज आर द इंडिकेटर्स और इनिशियल इंडिकेटर्स बाय विच you can judge that this dog might be having the hyperadrenocorticism. Now सवाल ये उठता है, why this polydipsia polyuria is there if cortisol level is high? Dear friends, you should know that this cortisol induce interference with ADH binding in the distal tubule of kidney. कहने का मतलब ये है कि जब ADH बाइंड करता है, उससे जब हाई लेवल ऑफ कॉर्टिसोल रहता है इनिशियली अर्ली स्टेज में, जब नॉर्मली कॉर्टिसोल प्रोड्यूस होता है, ये डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाता है और मेटाबोलाइज हो जाता है बिफोर रीचिंग टू दैट पॉइंट। बट जब इसका लेवल हाई हो जाता है, एक्सीड कर जाता है, एट दैट टाइम कॉर्टिसोल ADH की जगह पे बाइंड कर लेता है, तो यूरिन का कंसंट्रेशन नहीं हो पाता है। एट दैट टाइम देयर विल बी hypoesthesionúria, or you can say the specific gravity of urine will be low. This leads to polydipsia and polyuria, because जब ज़्यादा यूरिन होगा at that time there will be more thirst and animal will have or animal will take more water. So the reason behind this polyuria, polydipsia is the binding of cortisol with the tubule instead of the vasopressin or ADH. But in case of cat, it can be augmented, or you can say it can be supported due to the type 2 diabetes or concurrent diabetes, which commonly observed in cats if they are suffering from this hypercortisolism. Another clinical feature, that is the very important clinical feature which is observed by the owner or mostly presented by owner with for this complaint, is the cutaneous changes. And the early cutaneous changes are coat loses its luster and healthy appearance. You will find it will be very difficult to groom. There will be slow hair growth, or you can say once the hair is clipped, regrowth of the hair is very slow. You may also find hair loss, or it can be hypotrichosis or alopecia. But very interesting finding in the hair loss pattern is there. Whenever there is endocrine origin hair loss, in almost all condition you will find the hair loss is symmetric. It involves trunks but spares head and distal extremities. यानी कि सिर्फ ट्रंक से एलोपेसिया होगा, लेकिन उसके सर पे और पैरों में बाल के गुच्छे आपको दिखाई देंगे। बड़ा टिपिकल प्रेजेंटेशन होता है, उसको देख करके आप बड़े आसानी से जज कर सकते हैं दिस इज़ द हार्मोनल इंड्यूस्ड, और यू कैन से hypercorticism induced alopecia. लेकिन sometime you can also find patchy and flank alopecia in some dogs. You may also observe, or it can be also noticed by the owner, that coat color is changing. There may be change in the coat color. Black hairs turns rust color. Similarly, brown hairs lightens to tan. And this change in the hair coat or color can be observed in entire length of the shaft of hair, but only distal portion can also be observed to be changed. So these are the early signs by which this cutaneous, or you can say hair changes or hair loss are observed by this high level of cortisol. Now सवाल ये उठता है कि जब कॉर्टिसोल लेवल बढ़ता है तो हेयर लॉस क्यों होगा? Why there is alopecia or hypotrichosis? You should know that this cortisol affects the function as well as cycle regulation of the hair follicle. It disrupts the normal hair growth cycle. अगर आप बात करेंगे तो जो ग्रोइंग स्टेज होता है ऑफ हेयर फॉलिकल का, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एनाजेन फेज ऑफ द हेयर. इन दिस स्टेज हेयर ग्रोथ, बट जो नेक्स्ट फेज होता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रेस्टिंग फेज और टेलोजेन फेज. इन दिस वन देयर इज ए complete stoppage of the hair growth, and once the level of this cortisol is very high, at that stage the anagen phase or anagen hairs prematurely enters into the telogen or resting phase, and thus there will be sudden bouts of hair shedding. So this cortisol ultimately change the function as well as cycle of the hair regrowth, and almost all hairs are affected, but the hair which are on truncal area, they are under pressure and they लॉस्ट फर्स्ट. अगर आपको पहचानना भी है, अगर कंप्लीट एलोपेसिया नहीं है, आपको लगता है कि कहीं ये हाइपर एड्रेनोकॉर्टिसिज्म के चलते एलोपेसिया है, एट दैट टाइम यू शुड जस्ट अपने हाथ को उसके बैक पे पुश एक बार ग्रूम कीजिए. यू विल फाइंड लॉट ऑफ बाउट्स ऑफ हेयर इन योर हैंड. एट द सेम टाइम अगर आप हेड पे पंच करेंगे हेयर को, you will not found that much of hair fall from the head. So it is also indicative of the hormone induced alopecia. Other cutaneous signs like, which are very important for this disease: thin skin, hypotonic, or you can say the wrinkling of the skin can be observed, hyperpigmentation will be there. The bruising of skin is very easy. It means you will find petechiae and ecchymosis over the skin. You can also find phylacteries, seborrhea, comedons, poor wound healing, bacterial pyoderma because of immunosuppression, and calcinosis cutis. That is the chronic cutaneous ossification. If calcinosis cutis is persisted for long time, it will converted into the chronic cutaneous ossification. So these are the typical signs or cutaneous alteration which can be observed in a case if dog is suffering from hyperadrenocorticism. What are the possible reason or what are the possible pathophysiology behind this cutaneous lesion? In this one अगर आप बात करेंगे तो mainly 3 regions are associated with the cutaneous lesions. In this first one is the catabolism of protein, anti-enzymatic activity of cortisol, and anti-mitotic effect of cortisol. These 3 effects of cortisol are mainly associated with the skin manifestation in diseased dog. You should know, if you will go in much detail, this cortisol or elevated cortisol level suppress DNA synthesis, decreases mitosis and keratinization of the skin, or you can say it induces keratinization abnormalities and ultimately epidermis become thin. The basement membrane zone become thin and disrupted if cortisol level is high. You will find dermal vasculature become fragile because this high level of cortisol inhibits fibroblast proliferation, and that is mainly responsible for bruise and ecchymosis in the skin. The collagen and ground substance production is also inhibited by this high level of cortisol, and this collagen and ground substance production inhibition is associated or responsible for wound healing delay process. And the other effects like changes in the protein structure, collagen and elastin fiber is responsible for the calcinosis, or you can say dystrophic calcinosis cutis, because once there is changes in the protein structure, collagen and elastic fiber, the skin becomes attractive for mineralization, and ultimately you will find dystrophic calcinosis cutis condition if there is high level of cortisol. And it is well known that high level of cortisol is associated with immunosuppression, and this will leads to bacterial and fungal infestation in the dogs. Now, another effect like impaired glucose tolerance and diabetes mellitus is also associated with this high level of cortisol. The high level of cortisol involve in induction of diabetes mellitus directly as well as indirectly. अगर हम directly की बात करें तो this high level of cortisol stimulates gluconeogenesis in liver, और जब gluconeogenesis stimulate होगा at that time there will be increased production of glucose. Secondly, it reduces the insulin sensitivity in peripheral tissue, और जब इंसुलिन सेंसिटिविटी पेरिफेरल टिश्यूज में कम होगा at that time there will be lipolysis, or you can say catabolic state will be there. Another mechanism by which it directly increases the blood glucose level, or you can say induces diabetes mellitus, is it increases the glucagon level, and that ultimately increases the glucose production. It also indirectly affects the level of glucose by increasing proteolysis, by increasing lipolysis, as we have said that it induces insulin resistance. It can also lead to damage to pancreatic B cell or dysfunction to the pancreatic B cells, which leads to impaired insulin secretion. So, these are the possible reasons for the occurrence of hyperglycemia, or you can say diabetes mellitus in affected animal. Another effect of this hypercortisolism is the dyslipidemia, and there are reasons for this occurrence of dyslipidemia. As you know that it enhances the peripheral lipolysis. Once there will be lipolysis, then will be hyperlipidemia. At the same time, it enhances visceral lipogenesis. Insulin resistance increases hepatic triglyceride synthesis. कहने का मतलब ये है कि पेरिफेरल टिश्यू जो सबक्यूटेनियस टिश्यू है वहाँ पे इंसुलिन रेसिस्टेंस होने के चलते लाइपोलाइसिस होने लगता है। बट एट द सेम टाइम जब विसरल फैट की हम लोग बात करते हैं, जहाँ पे ओमेंटल फैट की बात करते हैं, वहाँ पे लीवर में इसका ट्राइग्लिसराइड सिंथेसिस इन्हांस कर देता है। बोथ आर कंट्राडिक्टरी। जब लीवर में ट्राइग्लिसराइड सिंथेसिस हाई होगा और ओवर प्रोड्यूस होगा, एट दैट टाइम ओमेंटल लिपिड एक्युमुलेशन होगा, और दैट इज एसोसिएटेड विद द enlargement, or you can say obesity in the dogs, or abdominal enlargement you will find if there is omental deposition of this fat. तो लाइपोलाइसिस भी साथ साथ चलता है, साथ ही साथ लाइपोजेनेसिस भी रहता है अगर हाई लेवल ऑफ कॉर्टिसोल है तो। अदर इफेक्ट्स ऑन द मस्कुलर स्केलेटल सिस्टम you will find skeletal muscle atrophy and weakness. The most pronounced effect you will observe over the head, shoulders, thighs and pelvis. You can also observe cranial cruciate rupture in small dogs, and you know that these are due to the proteolysis and apoptotic effect of this cortisol over the myofibrils. As we have discussed, there is obesity. Apart from that, this a typical condition called as pot belly condition is observed frequently in this Cushing syndrome. The reason behind this pot belly condition is due to the abdominal flaccidity. As we have discussed that the tensionings, or you can say the strength of the muscle is destroyed, or you can say diminished by this hypercortisolism, and so dogs are unable to tense the abdomen normally. In that condition you will find a pot belly condition, which is typical of this hypercortisolism or Cushing syndrome. Another feature which is observed in female dogs, that are intact bitches, you will find persistent anestrus. In intact bitches you can also find clitoral enlargement, and this clitoral enlargement is very characteristic of the endogenous hypercortisolism, because this enlargement of clitoral enlargement or clitoris enlargement is because of high production of adrenal androgens. It means that अगर endogenous और adrenal gland actively हार्मोन की सिंथेसिस कर रहा होगा, उसी कंडीशन में क्लाइटोरल इन्लार्जमेंट होगा। लेकिन आपने एट्रोजेनिक कहीं से दिया है, बाहर से कॉर्टिसोल एडमिनिस्टर किया है, एट दैट कंडीशन बाकी के सिम्टम्स आपको मिलेंगे, लेकिन ये क्लाइटोरल इन्लार्जमेंट का सिम्टम आपको नहीं मिलेगा। तो डियर फ्रेंड्स, इफ़ यू आर फाइंडिंग क्लाइटोरल इन्लार्जमेंट, यू शुड सस्पेक्ट अबाउट द endogenous cause of this hypercortisolism. Similarly, if adrenocorticotropic hormone is overproduced, there will be testicular atrophy in males. In castrated males and females, you can also find perianal adenoma. You can also find prostatomegaly in castrated males. So these are the reproductive disorders which are associated with this adrenal hypercortisolism. Other organ which is affected, that is the respiratory complications. You will find excessive panting, and in a small breeds this excessive panting is because of hepatic enlargement, which pushes the diaphragm against abdominal cavity, is pushed because of the enlargement of this liver, and space for diaphragm is not much more, at that condition you will find panting. So sometimes people are calling it as a polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia and panting. Four P's are there in hyperadrenocorticism. You may also find bronchopneumonia or dystrophic mineralization and fibrosis can be observed in bronchi. Pulmonary thrombosis is also a feature of this disease in dogs. Next changes which are associated with this hypercortisolism is behavioral changes. You can find aggressiveness, depression, psychosis and self mutilation if your pet is suffering with this hyperadrenocorticism. Neurological signs like ataxia, blindness, head pressing, circling, hyperesthesia and seizures can also be observed in dogs suffering from this hypercortisolism. Now the very important hepatomegaly, पहले भी हमने बात किया कि hepatomegaly हो जाती है. तो what are different reasons for the hepatomegaly if cortisol level is high? And this hepatomegaly is a very common feature. जैसे आप पाल्पेट करते हैं आपको एब्डोमेन में उसको लीवर पाल्पेट होने लगता है and you will find most of the cases there will be fasting hyperglycemia. As we have discussed how this hyperglycemia is there, what are different effects of this glucocorticoid we should know in detail, then we can understand how this hepatomegaly is associated with hypercortisolism. This overproduction of glucocorticoid is associated with increased activity of enzymes which are associated with fatty acid synthesis, and ultimately there will be increased secretion of lipoproteins. Because of this lipogenic effect of this glucocorticoids or cortisol, there will be high production of triglyceride, and this triglyceride will accumulate within the liver, and a condition called as fatty liver will be there. Once there will be fatty liver, there will be hepatic enlargement and hepatomegaly will be there. Another reason for this hepatic enlargement can be the gluconeogenesis. It means that जब ग्लूकोनियोजेनेसिस इन्हांस हो जाएगा एट दैट टाइम हेपेटिक ग्लूकोज आउटपुट जो होगा वो हाई होगा एंड देयर विल बी हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया, और हाइपरग्लाइसीमिया होगा एट दैट टाइम देयर विल बी deposition of glycogen and vacuolation in the hepatocytes, and this leads to ultimate hepatocellular necrosis because of this glycogen deposition, as well as swollen hepatocytes will be there. So these are the basic reason behind that why this hepatomegaly is there in dogs or cats. Because of this hepatomegaly, you can also find several hepatic enzymes will be elevated, that will be we will discuss in diagnostic part. Another some uncommon signs are also associated with this syndrome, or you can also observe some signs like hypertension in dogs. Some of the dogs are also shown to have hypertension. Pulmonary thromboembolism can also be observed. Congestive heart failure, Cushing-Wynd myotonia, osteoporosis or osteomalacia can also be observed. Some cases you can also find exophthalmia. Non-healing corneal ulcers are characteristic of this disease. Keratopathy can be observed. Recurrent urinary tract infection can also be there. glomerulonephritis, pyelonephritis, urolithiasis may be there if animal is suffering from this hypercortisolism. In this you will find calcium oxalate and calcium phosphates are the major urolith if animal is suffering from this hypercortisolism. You can also find acute pancreatitis, but these clinical features are not very common and these are rarely observed in dogs who are suffering from this hypercortisolism. Dear friends, अब तक हम लोगों ने क्लिनिकल फीचर्स और एटियोपैथोलॉजी की बात की. नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे कि हाउ वी विल डायग्नोज दिस डिजीज एंड व्हाट could be the possible therapeutic approaches. Thank you.